The films arrive in the building via our film bay. The couriers come and they have a key to our film bay and they leave it in there, and I just go and pick that up and bring it back down here. Yeah, the films arrive in these red boxes, and inside the films are made up of, I don't know, 5 to 6 to 7, sometimes 8 and 9 smaller separate reels that I splice together onto a bigger reel. So everything comes on these little bobbins. This is the head and the foot from each reel of film. And I splice these together on big reels using this wind-up.
Why can't they just transport it all as one big reel?
It's a very inefficient way of transporting films. They can pack say 6 or 7 reels into a much smaller box, and the film also gets better protected as a result.
How long does it take to train someone to be a 35mm projectionist?
I suppose on average it's about a couple of weeks. Depends, because you've got projection operators and you've got projectionists who break down films and make up films, and learning that takes a little bit longer, but operating a projector's, I don't know, most people get it in a few days, but a good couple of weeks to be left alone to do it, sort of thing.
There's a huge amount of difference between training to operate a 35mm projection and a digital projector. Essentially, the digital projector can be as simple as just pressing play on an interface. There's many more aspects to 35mm projection, and it's mainly the troubleshooting that you have to be conscious of. There could be a number of more things that could go wrong, and snags and traps and things. You also have to learn how to use splicing, because of course you're dealing with a physical tape as opposed to just a file on a computer.
To train someone to use a digital projector is much less time, more like 20 minutes, you know, if that.
The future of 35mm unfortunately doesn't look very good. Personally, I think it's a shame to have them go. I like the tradition of them, and I think it's a good statement for a tradition of cinema. But there are little to no advantages at all to 35mm, especially with the introduction of digital theatre.
After we finished with the films, I just break them back down into the smaller reels that they came in, put them back in the box, put them in the film bay, and then the drivers come and pick that up, or it gets a crossover to another cinema. But usually they get put in the film bay and get picked up.
Film distributors send all of their films into a large warehouse, which then couriers send to us, and then we ingest or break down and make up the film, and then when we're done with it, we send them back to the couriers, to the warehouse, which will eventually go back to the distributors.
After the couriers have picked them up, where do they go then?
Well, they go to somewhere called it's
Perivale.
Perivale, I think it's called.
For the film?
Perivale?
Perivale.
Oh, the film dump.
And do you know what's there?
No idea.
Oh, Perivale. That's where the films go. Nobody knows what that looks like. Nobody's been there. I guess the couriers have been there, but they don't talk.
I know that the films kind of come from there and end up back there.
Perivale, where all the films come from.
What is Perivale?
It's just where all the films come from, Perivale.
It does sound like a mystical place, but it's where all the films live.
Apparently, it's just a name. It's just this place. They all go there.
What is it?
I imagine some kind of big warehouse, maybe?
I don't know anyone that's been to Perivale. We know that the films go there when we finish with them. What happens to them, don't know. What it looks like, could be a hole in the ground.
Possibly underground, I'm not sure.
But I'd love to see it sometime. I think they should do tours.
They won't let us in,
No.
We've asked. It could be Area 51, nobody knows.
Is it a prison?
What, like a film prison?
Yeah.
What do you think is meant by Perivale?
Perivale?
Does that mean anything to you?
I've never been there. I imagine it's, I think it's by Gatwick Airport.
It's the central hub. It's the mothership of all film distribution. It's where all films end up in Perivale at some point during their lives. I have absolutely no idea what size of operation it is, who's running it, where specifically it is, and what it looks like inside. I kind of imagine it to be like the warehouse at the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Does Perivale mean anything to me? It does, but if I told you that, I'd have to kill you.